Guys have been asking for another level 2 lesson. I know level 2 is a huge part of trading, so I really don't have a problem going into it at all. We have how Dekmar uses level 2. We have level 2 lessons, basically learning the basics, and then we have Chad level 2, who went into a lesson as well. That's all into the video library. You can also type in time, so you get a time in sales, which goes off of the level 2. And then we also have a lesson called Buying the Bid, Not the Ask, which teaches you about the level 2. So we have about 5 different lessons about the level 2 and how you guys can use them, and it is a very crucial part of your trading. Without level 2, for me, I feel like I'm trading blind, because when I'm actually in a trade, I don't look at the chart at all. What I'm looking at is the level 2, because I want to see how many people are buying compared to how many people are selling, how many people that are buying and how big their shares are compared to the sellers and how big their sells are. And then I look at the time in sales to actually see what is going through. So what's going on right here basically tells me so much about what this play is currently looking at, and what is going to be going on next. What I want to talk about right now is a nice strategy that a lot of people use, and you're going to hear this term a lot, called stacking. Now, you'll hear, oh, the bid is being stacked or the ask is being stacked. Now, what does that mean? Well, again, everyone should know how to use the level 2, and if you guys don't, make sure you guys stop this and go watch the lessons, the level 2 lessons, the basics, how Sean Dekmar uses the level 2, and then you will be all caught up. But basically, when we're looking at the ask right here, or we're looking at the bid, we're looking to see if certain prices are going to stack. So when we see certain prices stack up on the ask or the bid size, that shows strength. So if we see, let's say, for instance, we see a bid and we see a lot of green. So green, 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 and we only see like one green over here. That means that bid is going to be holding as very strong support, because each person right here, or each bid is one different buyer, or over here it's going to be one different seller. So if we have 10 people looking to buy and we only have one person looking to sell, do you think that is going to be going down at all? Do you think that's going to be falling at all, that stock? No, it's not. Why? Because of the plain fact that we are going to be seeing a lot more buyers than sellers. So as I always like to do, let's bring up a very simple color coordination type of deal. Let me just bring up paint. Again, I always like to keep this as easy as possible, visually easy as possible, and I like to make sure that you guys see this. So if we go to paint right here, and I'm going to keep this a little bit small, I'm going to bring this down behind the level 2 right here, and let's just make this as easy as possible, to be completely honest. So we'll just have these bars right here, and let's say I'm going to be basically be drawing the level 2. So if I'm drawing the level 2, and let's say I have a buyer here, okay, I have a buyer here, 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 and let's just say I have one more buyer here. Okay, cool. And then as you guys know, we have this line kind of goes right down the middle. This right here is going to be B for bid, and this is going to be A, for ask, the selling side. Okay, so right here. Now let's kind of dive back into this, and we can then see that we have one top seller here, and then what happens? And then it goes red, 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 and then we start going yellow, yellow. So let's kind of figure this out as well. Red, 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 and it goes yellow down here. So this is basically what it would look like, right? Now if we're talking about this and looking straight at this right now, this is saying that the bid is stacked, because how many different orders do we have right here? We have 1, we have 2, we have 3, we have 4, we have 5, we have 6. This guy could have 1,000 shares. This guy could have 500. This guy could have 100. This guy could have 200. This guy could have 4,000. This guy could have 3,000. This person could just be selling 400 shares. So if the price, let's say, is currently let's go 295, and all of these are 295, and let's say this guy is 296. Do we believe that it's going to go underneath 295? No way it's going to go under 295, because it's not going to happen. There is only one seller right here for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 buyers. So whenever you see the bid being stacked, you see the bid being stacked right here, what can you guys say to yourself? It says, hey, this is very strong support at the moment, and we're most likely going to move up in price. So right now you can see it's like 2 and 2. So that's why we have a good old standoff right now. Okay, 3 to 1, not anything too crazy. Usually when you see a stack, it's usually about like 4 to 5 compared to like maybe 1 to 2. So right now it's just, basically even. There's not anything stacking up against each other. But when you start seeing a lot of big green going through compared to, one order on the sell, there's no way that you're going to be able to what? Basically be able to take out all these buyers right here. That means this one order would have to take out this whole entire section right here. Okay, which again could happen. How? Well, let's see. Well, if this guy, let's just again keep it small numbers. This guy's selling 1 share, and this guy's selling 3 shares, and this guy's selling 5 shares, and this guy's selling 1 share, and this guy's selling 2 shares, and this guy's selling 1 share. Okay, so, or excuse me, looking to buy. So this guy's looking to buy 1 share, looking to buy 3 shares, looking to buy 5, looking to buy 1, looking to buy 2, looking to buy 1. Okay, and let's say this guy selling wise is at 30. Okay, so that guy's at 30. So even though the bid could be stacked, what's a great thing? So look at this. Are we going to be going below? This is actually a great example. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 different orders right there, and that's why again it stayed at it would not go below 295. Why? Because we had 5 different orders going through. So we had 5 different orders, and if you look, it was compared to 1 order. So that's why we move on up. Because whenever there's more buy orders on this side, obviously it's going to move on up. If there's more sell orders, it's going to move on down. That's simple enough. But this kind of gets a little complicated sometimes. If you see 1, 3, 5, 1, 2, 1. So this is a total of what? I don't know, 4, 9, 10, 12, 13. So basically it's 13 shares that are looking to be bought compared to 30. So even though this is just one sell guy, this guy is still holding up this whole entire thing because he has more shares to sell than there is being bought. So that wall is not being broken on down. So right now, look what we're coming up to. This guy at 305 is looking to sell. When we get to 305, there's going to be 11,000 share seller. Okay? So when we get to 305, there's going to be 11,000 share seller. If there's only orders of 300 or 100 or whatever, it's going to be very tough. Like look at we have let's see, we actually broke down. So again, we're kind of bouncing around, starting to move pretty good now as we're starting to climb. But what we're really looking for, guys, is looking for the bid to stack and the ask to be minimal. I just wanted to give you guys this little example because sometimes if there is a huge sell order, the bid being stacked doesn't really matter unless it still takes out, this huge order. But the majority of the time, what you guys are going to notice the majority of the time is whenever the bid is being stacked, what is that going to mean? That means that you are going to be holding very nice support. It's most likely not going to fall underneath this area. Since we've been talking about this lesson, wasn't it down towards around, look at that 294 mark? It was down at 294. Now it's all the way up to 304, 305. Why is that? It's because the bid keeps getting stacked and it keeps moving on up. Right now at 305, the ask is higher than 304. So right now we're going to stay at 304 unless someone takes out these shares. Now it's basically even. So let's just see if we can get a stacked case right now. Now basically we could do the complete opposite that we had before. So if we want to look at the complete opposite and we want to look at this, let's just put in again kind of right across the board. We have our bid right here. We have our ask right here. Now if we start looking and we start seeing the bid start having this line, or excuse me, start seeing the ask have green, 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 and then we start going, yellow, 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 and then we start having some, red down, or whatever, the color scheme could be. And then you have, let's say, green, green, and then you have what, red, 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 and then you have yellow, yellow, like this. What does that mean? Well, now, if you guys look at this, what do we have? Now the ask is going to be completely stacked. So the ask right here is going to be stacked, which is basically like a wall. In simplest, most childish terms ever, the more you have, the stronger it is. So basically, it's like 4 versus 2. Who's going to win? Probably 4 compared to the 2. If you're playing dodgeball in high school and it's like 12 on 1, and there's 12 people on this side and there's 1 person on this side, who's going to win? Probably the person with the 12, the team with the 12. Make it as easy as possible for yourself. Another common question that people always ask me, Deck, what do the colors mean? Why are these in green? Why are these in red? Why are these in yellow? That's just to visually make it easy for our eyes to see which one's next. There's not really any sort of meaning other than to help us out that says, okay, this is the current top price that people are willing to buy at. That's not the ask. So again, this is the top current price that you are willing to buy at. Below that is 302. Below that, there's someone willing to buy at this area. Below that is very easy this area. This is just the top or the lowest price that someone is willing to sell at. So 305's here. These guys are willing to sell at 306, but the 305 guys are going to be ahead of them. And it just constantly says, okay, this is the highest price that someone is willing to be able to buy this at, and this is the lowest price that someone's able to sell this at. Okay, if you don't like that, you can get put in right here. Like if I want to buy right now at $3, I would be put right here at the $3 area. If I'm in and I want to sell at 304, 305, my order would be put down here, and then it would go in the blue, the yellow, the red. But a lot of people always ask me, what do the colors mean? It just means it's visually easy to help me. Hey, okay, I know I have 3 bidders versus 1 seller. Okay, awesome. So now I know that. Now I don't have to compare anything else. Let's give it a couple seconds for maybe a few orders to go through, and then let's see what we're going to have next. So we'll see. But right now, again, it's not like anything stacked in any direction. You can look at TVIX, selling, stacked, and look what happened. Just dropped 3 cents. So you can see right here, bidders stacked at 1070. Watch what happens. Goes up to 1071 because again, bidders are stacked. Now again, so then up to 1071. So you're kind of looking to see which one's stacked to be able to find a very, very easy area of support and resistance, or to be able to know basically, okay, is this going to go up or down at this mark? So what we have, 4 on 1. We have a little bit, and this isn't, again, a true stacking is usually when you see 5 to 6 compared to 1 or 2. That's when you can start saying to yourself, oh wow, this is really starting to get stacked. A lot of the times when you see it really starting to get stacked is when you're coming up to resistance lines. So you'll be coming up to a resistance line and you'll start seeing a couple sellers and you start taking out the sellers, taking out a couple, and then you see everyone starting to want to buy. So everyone starts wanting to buy. So everyone starts lining up here and you're having those last little people you take out, and that's when you jump forward. So usually also as well, you see a lot of buyers at some sort of support line. So if we're looking at AQMS right now, let's switch back to let's say a 5-minute time frame, and we look over towards AQMS once this updates for us. Let's see what we have. We'll see what we're going to be looking at next, of course. But right now, again, we are just looking at AQMS at this time, and we are seeing right now just comparing the bid to the ask, seeing which one is going to be stacked more. And I try to, again, make it as easy as possible for you guys to understand, it's basically like a good old game of dodgeball. If you have more people on your team, you're going to last longer. So if 297, if there's more people buying here, it's probably not going to go below 297. If you have one person at 299, 4 people can take out, that 299 guy. It's just simple, make it as easy as possible. And, right now, unless someone buys, again, about 600 shares worth, right here at 297, it's going to stay at 297. And that's why, again, right now it's moving up to 298. Now 298's holding on up. Now let's see if it goes up to 299, because it's still 4 against 1. All we need is one person to buy 106 shares. And only 106 shares. Someone on the selling side needs to sell 600 shares. So probably, again, if I had to take a guess, this will probably come up towards around 299 unless someone sells 600 shares, which really isn't too much, but we'll definitely see. Okay, there's 299. 298.75. Why? Because right now we're an order just went through because we only had to take out a few shares. So again, it's just about comparing the bid to the ask and seeing what's stacked. Now you can see it's back up towards around $3. We start getting into a little bit more of a fussle. What you guys can do a lot as well is, let's say we look at TVIX. TVIX is a good one to be able to say which one's stacked. Now again, you have to read it. So right now we're even. Right now we're pretty even. Okay. The ask, it's holding on up. Okay, back to even. The bid 265 looking like strong support. Why 265 looking like strong support? We have a lot of support, a lot of orders going through at 265. 267 though, I know for a fact 267 has a lot of good areas. That's why 265 trying to hold on up, because there was a lot of support right at that mark. 265 is starting to get weaker though. Now we're probably going to come down to 264. There's only one guy left at 265. So if this guy gets taken out, what's going to happen? It's going to fall back down to 264. Right now, 265 still holding on up, but 266, it's just really, again, about getting used to it. And that's what I like to look at. I like to look at, these different areas to be able to tell and ask myself, hey, what side is stronger at the moment? It doesn't mean it's going to be able to be a long-term type of thing, but it lets you know on that second. So it lets you know, on that second, which way you want to be looking at, which way you want to focus on that second. So right now, if you guys have any questions, definitely let me know. But I want to just go into a quick little stacking on the bid and stacking on the ask lesson, just so you understood that term. Because a lot of people say that, and a lot of big time traders say, oh, the bid is being stacked. So when you see the bid being stacked, that either means that you're going to have a lot of support at that area, or we're going to see a lot of buying coming on up. Or if people start saying, oh, the ask is being stacked, that means you're going to see a lot of selling in that area, or you're coming up to a very strong resistance line where a lot of people are selling at a certain mark. And that's what they mean when they say bid is being stacked, watch your buying volume, or that's a very nice support line. It shouldn't break below that because that has a lot of people buying there. Or the ask is being stacked. We're coming up to our resistance line. A lot of people selling here, or a lot of people are, going to be getting out of their position, right now. So it's very important that you guys understand that you guys see that, and basically making that little paint picture visually seeing it makes it a lot more simple for you guys. So understanding the color coding, awesome. The greens, the reds, the yellows, the blues. Understanding again what I drew out in paint, and understanding the simple fact: if you have more people on your team, you're probably going to win. If it's 6-on-1 and we're playing dodgeball, probably the team with 6 people are going to win. So what does that mean in stock trading? If I have 6 buyers on the bid and 1 seller, probably the bid is going to win, which means it's going to go up. If I have 6 sellers on the ask and 1 person on the bid, that means I have 6 people willing to sell, only 1 person willing to buy. It's probably going to move on down. So it's really just, making sure you guys understand that. Now, it takes a little bit of time to get that feel for it, but it all comes with time. It comes with practice. So make sure you guys study up, and you guys will be good to go.